Hi, hello dear students. I hope you already developed some basic ideas regarding photosynthesis through my previous presentation. Now I am here to discuss the photosynthetic process in detail. Let's study light reaction, the first phase of photosynthesis today. All of you already learned the concept that photosynthesis is a complicated oxidation reduction reaction in which water is getting oxidized and carbon dioxide is getting reduced. Oxidation of water is taking place during the first phase, which is known as light reaction or primary photochemical reaction or Hill's reaction, whereas carbon dioxide reduction occur in the second phase, which is termed as dark reaction or Blackman's reaction or path of carbon in photosynthesis. Among these two phases, light reaction is faster than dark reaction. What is light reaction? Light reaction comprises light-dependent photochemical reactions which are taking place in the grana or thylakoid portion of chloroplast during photosynthesis. Light reaction is the first stage of photosynthesis in which solar energy is converted into chemical energy in the form of ATP. We know sun is the ultimate source of energy, so energy contained in sunlight is trapped in chemical bonds of ATP by this process. Chlorophyll pigments capture light energy, which is used to generate high energy electrons with great reducing potentials. These electrons are used in a series of photochemical reactions called light reaction to produce energy rich intermediate compounds called ATP and NADPH. Before going to the detailed process of light reactions, let us discuss the role of light reaction in photosynthesis. The main role of light reaction is to generate assimilatory powers. That means organic molecules containing energy such as ATP and NADPH, which are needed for the subsequent dark reaction. So light reaction supplies assimilatory powers ATP and NADPH, which are used as fuels for dark reaction. So ATP and NADPH connects light reaction and dark reaction. So light reaction produces ATP and NADPH, of which ATP is the energy carrier and NADPH is the hydrogen carrier. Since dark reaction is a reduction process by which carbon dioxide is reduced to form energy rich glucose molecule. So both ATP and NADPH are utilized in this reaction as fuels, one for supplying energy, the other one as a fuel for reduction process. Now all of you understood the fact that ATP and NADPH are the products of light reaction. So now we are going to learn a little more about these two molecules. First, ATP. What is ATP? Do you know the expansion of ATP? It is adenosine triphosphate. Basically, it is a nucleotide with a nitrogen base, adenine, a pentose sugar, ribose, and 3 phosphate groups. Here, when adenine combines with ribose, it forms adenosine. When adenosine combines with 3 phosphate groups, this is 3 phosphate, so it is triphosphate. So adenosine plus 3 phosphates, it forms adenosine triphosphate. ATP is a magical molecule which serves a vital role in living systems. It serves as the energy currency of a cell. Energy required for every entergonic reaction in cell must be supplied through ATP. This is another representation of structure of ATP. Here this is adenine, ribose and 3 phosphate groups. So here this adenine plus ribose constitute adenosine. When adenosine combines with these 3 phosphates, it forms ATP. If one phosphate is removed here from here, then adenosine plus 2 phosphates. So that condition is ADP, adenosine diphosphate. If only a single phosphate is attached to adenosine, then it is adenosine monophosphate. Okay, and these two phosphate groups, these two phosphate bonds are known as high energy phosphate bonds. So by the breaking of these two high energy bonds, high amount of energy is released and this energy is utilized for cell metabolism. In living cells, ATP is formed from ADP and inorganic phosphate. When exergonic reactions takes place, exergonic reactions means reactions which are accompanied by an energy flow or energy release. In such conditions, that means sufficient amount of energy is released to the system. When ADP then combines with a phosphate and it form ATP. So this extra phosphate is attached to this position and it forms ATP. And cellular metabolism requires energy for several reactions. Such reactions are known as endergonic reactions. So, in order to carry out endergonic reactions, energy must be supplied. So, at these situations, ATP molecule breaks down to release this excess energy. So, in such situations, these high energy phosphate bonds are breaking, and if this phosphate group is breaking and releasing this phosphate plus energy, it is returning back as ADP. So this energy released during this reaction, it is used for cellular work. So this is all about ATP. Next, NADPH. What is NADPH? It is reduced form of NADP plus. What is NADP or NADP plus? NADP is the abbreviation of nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. It is a very important hydrogen carrier in living systems like NAD, FAD, FMN, etc. Let's have a look into the structure of NADP plus. It's a dinucleotide. One with adenine and the other one with nicotinamide. Both adenine and nicotinamide are attached to a pentose sugar here to the first carbon of pentose sugar, that is ribose, and a phosphate group is attached here and these phosphate groups are interconnected. So this is the structure of the dinucleotide portion, and this is almost similar to NAD also because nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, that is NAD. So NADP plus differs from NAD plus in the presence of an additional phosphate group here, that is in the 2' position of ribose ring which is attached to adenine. So this phosphate group makes the difference between NAD and NADP. So this extra phosphate group forms this P here. The other two phosphates are parts of NAD also. So NADP differs from NAD in this additional phosphate group which is attached to ribose ring connected to adenine. Okay. And one important thing you have to remember is always you have to write NADP plus, not NADP. It's the same in the case of NAD also. You have to write NAD plus. So why this plus sign here? It is because of this plus sign of nicotinamide moiety. Here a positive charge is there in the nicotinamide moiety. So because of this positive charge, NADP or NAD, in the oxidized condition, it is always carrying a positive charge. So you have to write NADP plus instead of NADP. It is the correct representation. Now NADP plus is the oxidized state. When it receives a hydrogen molecule H2, it will become reduced to form NADPH plus H plus, not as NADPH2. That is another important point to remember. This is very important. NADPH2 is a wrong representation. Always you have to write as NADPH plus H plus. So let's see why it is so. So have a look what happens during the reduction of NADP plus, then only you can understand. So here all of us know a hydrogen molecule. This is a hydrogen molecule H2. It is a hydrogen molecule. A hydrogen molecule possesses two hydrogen atoms. Okay. One hydrogen atom means one H plus and one electron. So 1 H2 comprises 2 H plus, that means 2 protons and 2 electrons. Okay. So from here 1 electron, so we are supplying 1 H2 to NADP plus. So 1 H2 means 2 H plus and 2 electron. So out of these 2 H plus and 2 electrons, what happens next? 1 electron first goes to NADP plus to neutralize this positive sign. So when this electron is going to NADP plus and neutralizes this positive charge, it becomes NADP, neutral. Now 1 H plus and 1 electron together it constitute one hydrogen atom, and this hydrogen atom, it is attached to this NADP and now it forms NADPH. Next, the remaining one is the H plus. This H plus is free, so this H plus is represented here. So we should represent the oxidized state as NADP plus, and when hydrogen is added, reduction takes place and the reduced state must be represented as this NADPH plus H plus. So this is the correct representation of reduced condition of NADP plus. So you should write NADPH plus H plus. Okay. I hope you all understood. So we are moving on to the process of light reaction. The whole process of light reaction can be explained under the following heads. The first step is the absorption of light energy by chloroplast pigments. We all studied about different photosynthetic pigments in chloroplast. Chlorophylls are there, carotenoid pigments are there, and phycobilins. So these photosynthetic pigments, all these photosynthetic pigments absorb light energy in their own particular wavelength of light. But the problem is only chlorophyll A act as reaction center and all other pigments other than chlorophyll A are antenna pigments or accessory pigments. So the first step is absorption of light energy by all these pigments, whether it is a reaction center or antenna pigments. All pigments absorb light energy in their own particular wavelength of light. So that is the first step in light reaction. Second step is transfer of light energy from accessory pigments to chlorophyll A. We know light energy absorbed by accessory pigments such as chlorophyll B, carotene, xanthophyll, etc. It should be transferred to chlorophyll A, then only that light will be useful for photosynthesis. So this transfer of light energy, it is taking place by a very special phenomenon, that is as the transfer of energy in the form of excitational energy, not as radiations. We will think the light energy is transmitted from one pigment to other as radiations, but it is not like that. The transfer of light energy from accessory pigments to chlorophyll A takes place as excitational energy, as in resonance column. So this particular energy transfer between antenna pigments and chlorophyll A is termed as resonance transfer or Forster transfer. So you just remember this term, resonance transfer or Forster transfer. It represents the transfer of light energy from accessory pigments to chlorophyll A. The third step, it is activation of chlorophyll A molecule by photons of light. We know the pigment systems possess two different reaction centers, P680 and P700. So whether it is P680 or P700, they are in the ground state first, that is S0, ground singlet state, S0. When these P680 or P700 molecule receives a photons of light, it becomes an excited molecule having more energy than the ground state. So this is the difference in energy. So from ground state they are excited to an excited singlet state. After passing through unstable second singlet state, first singlet state, it reaches the excited triplet state, T1, or metastable triplet state. So this is quite unstable. From this particular state, chlorophyll A releases the extra energy carrying electron towards a photochemical reaction. And the ejection of this electron from chlorophyll A leaves a positive charge or hole on the chlorophyll molecule. So that's happening during activation of chlorophyll A molecule by photons of light. Here the exact photochemical reaction is now starting. Next is photolysis of water and oxygen evolution. It's a very important step of light reaction where water molecule is splitting up to release protons, electrons, and subsequently release molecular oxygen, which we will discuss in detail in the next slides. Next step, the very important step, electron transport. We know the electron ejected. We explained here when chlorophyll A is getting activated, it is from the excited triplet state, it releases electrons. So these electrons ejected from chlorophyll A, it is carried through a series of electron carriers, and accompanying with these electron flow, ATP and NADPH are formed. So this is very important step of light reaction, very important part of photochemical reaction, that is electron transport and production of both ATP and NADPH. And here production of ATP is also termed as photophosphorylation. So all these processes we will discuss in detail. And one more thing, based on the nature of electron path, we know electron transport taking place, and based on the path of electron, whether it is cyclic or non-cyclic, two different types of photochemical reactions are taking place in chloroplast, in the thylakoid portion. One is non-cyclic electron transport, the other one is cyclic electron transport. Okay, hope you all understood what I said, and I am coming with non-cyclic electron transport in detail in the next video. Okay, thank you.